Elaine Hume Peake spent decades in the TV news industry, working her way up through all levels of management. As a chronicler of history, she's a natural storyteller who could bring the past to life with a color and vibrancy that few others can. She and Don Keith co wrote a series of historical fiction novels that will be turned into a World War II Foundation PBS documentary. The series is called A Call to War. And Elaine joins us this morning to talk about the series. Good morning to my longtime friend, Elaine Hume Peake. It's great to have you on, Elaine.
You look fabulous.
So do you. You know, we should mention Elaine and I worked together for years at Channel 7, and Elaine is only 22 years old, so I don't know how
Oh,
she got hired there when she was 2. But it's so nice to see you. She was always, by the way, one of the most competent journalist managers with whom I ever worked, and one of the nicest with whom I ever worked. I want to tell you that on camera so you know it's from the heart. When did you decide you needed to write this series, and what was the impetus behind it? Because I love it.
all right, Ken, I have to tell you. So, the Kaboom Boys is a product of so many years of working towards trying to honor my father. My
Mhm.
dad was an amazing man, but I didn't know it. Went to his funeral at Arlington National Cemetery, and the youngest member of his squad showed up and started telling me the stories and all my sisters the stories. And at that moment, I thought, wow, wouldn't that be great? I'd like to write about that. That was in 1996. I was working at WABC. I had 2 little boys. I was busy. I didn't have time. So then a little bit later, um, I had another conversation when it was a Disney movie that had come out and it didn't do so well. And it was one of these things where, because I was working at Disney, one of my co producers said, why don't you write Disney and tell them about it? I did. Nothing happened. So that was in 2002. Then, as time went on, I finally retired from television news after 38 years. And I said, what am I going to do with myself? And I realized, wait a second, I've got this story. So I started writing the story. And that was in 2016 is when I really started writing it. I wrote a movie script and it was ready in 2019. It was the Kaboom Boys. And then in March of 2021, during COVID, a 96-year-old woman who was French. She's no longer with us now. She died in her 100th year.
Mm.
She contacted me on LinkedIn, started telling
Wow.
me all the stories about my father.
You know,
And that's
I'm
how
going to just
this,
interrupt a second. Pam, I think we have, if you have a picture of a lady and a young man holding a picture in each hands, I think that was one of the ones I gave you. I don't know if we have it up. We may or may not. Sometimes we do this in the middle of the night. You know the deal, Elaine. It's all in the
oh,
middle of the
I
night they
know, but
prep it.
don't worry.
So we
I
may
can
have it.
describe
Pam will
her
look
to
for it.
you.
There it is. Oh no, that's not it. It
Oh,
should be,
oh,
it's an
that's
old,
when, okay,
it's,
that is when we were at Penn Station last month. Amazon decided to put the cover of this book because it was doing so well at Penn Station. They put the book up. There it is. There's the
I
Empire
love it.
State Building. A full week. I didn't
Oh my
ask for it. They
God.
just said, hey, it's doing really well. Let's do this. And it was up there for a full week and it was amazing. So when we heard about that, we said, we're coming. So we went up to
Just
see
so
it. So it was,
So people, and that's beyond mind blowing to see that. And just so that people know, your dad did bomb disposal,
yeah,
right? So he used to risk his life. He used to go up to anyone else would run like that, run for the hills. Your
right,
dad
right.
volunteered. Why the hell would he volunteer to go disarm bombs?
And that is the number one question people have about people who do this. I am going tomorrow to a summit. It's the United States Bomb Technicians Association. They're all the top bomb disposal people in the country who are military and civilian. There are about 8,000 of them. And I'm going there tomorrow. Ken It is amazing to have been embraced by this community, and they love this book. I have to be honest; they're not at all thrilled with the Hurt Locker, because those guys and the Hurt Locker were very edgy. These
Mhm.
guys are calm. They have a Zen-like sense about them. They know that they are going to get this done. They're very confident. So I have grown to just appreciate everything. And I didn't know any of this when I was a kid. I didn't know any of this until the funeral at Arlington National Cemetery, where my father is buried beside my mother. So
This must have
it's a
been very
pretty amazing thing.
therapeutic for you. Was it therapeutic for you,
Um,
Elaine, to
yeah.
be able to talk about your
Oh,
dad and look into him?
when I started writing it, I was crying and crying and
Yeah.
crying. But now he's a character. He would be 110 in March.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you got to understand, he was one of the old guys, and he had a 4F. He was classified as unfit to serve, but he was determined because he came from poverty. He came from nothing. He was, through the Great Depression, all of this. And Ken, there are people today who face the same thing, and there are options. And my dad decided, I'm going to join. And like I said, he did not have to join, he did. And he had the adventure of his life. And that's what I tried to do with the Kaboom Boys. There he is.
And
There's my
for
dad.
those who God rest his soul, for those who don't realize he was only what, 20, 21 there, just a kid. And
No,
people who
okay.
did that, go ahead.
He was one of the older guys. He was
Okay.
25 when he joined.
Oh, old
But
man.
the young guy, the youngest member of his squad, Ken, is the one who told me the stories at his funeral. Oh,
Oh my
that's
God.
at Fort Lee. I was there just last month. So I've been doing, that's at the Pentagon. I
Wow.
was invited to the Pentagon. It's been insane,
I'm going to have to wrap
but
this
it's
up
been
because the
great
show
fun.
ends. The
Yeah.
show ends in a minute here, Elaine. But I just want to remind people you have the second book is Blacksmith of Dachau, and then
Yes.
of course you have the third book in the series right now. Good Night from Berlin continues the saga, and you're close to
Yes.
finishing Cold War Down. So this is a whole series. Give everyone a website, and we'll bring you back to talk more about the other books. But give everybody a website for more info.
Uh, if you can go to Severn River Publishing, they have everything. They have been fantastic. Severn, Severn River Publishing. And
I,
they have all the information about all the books. So they're an amazing publishing company.
All right. The series is called A Call to War, The Kaboom Boys, Blacksmith of Dachau, Goodnight Berlin, and Cold War Down. Author Elaine Hume Peake. My friend, thank you for coming on this morning and happy holidays,
Love
my
you.
friend.
Merry
I love you
Christmas.
back.
Happy holidays to everyone. Mwah. Take
Merry
care.
Christmas.